bit on an angle, but if I move an inch, my phone is gonna fall, and it's ridiculous when that happens, right? Not exactly a professional production happening here. So, the Incredible Hulk, good morning. I'm not calling you the Incredible Hulk, but maybe I am, because it says, La'elam yargiz adam yetzer taiv al yetzer hara. A person should always enrage his yetzer taiv over his yetzer hara. He has to rage. That's what God's telling us to do. Everyone has to rage against the machine that makes us be who we're not. I think people that look at the fact that they are worthless because of previous inadequacies or feelings of unworthiness that's from the past, what they did in the past, is missing the big picture. There is a dance happening. There is a conversation happening between you and God, okay? It has to do with cynicism on one side and faith and trust and love on the other side. That is the path that our soul and our experience goes through in this world. So the Chachamim teach us that we should always yargis, roar. Okay, that's what the word means. It means to roar. It's not yishak. I mean, that's the literal word for roar. But yargis is like rage. A person should always rage. Just think, like, I don't watch movies, right? But I did watch movies. I'm a Balchuva, and I had that exposure. Like I keep telling everybody that my father brought me up in comic books. It gives him a lot of nachas that I'm carrying on in this path. All parents get that. I mean, whatever they're into, whether you relate to it or not, but that's how they relate to you. People relate to others in terms of how much you embrace their outlook. That is who you are. So if there's an aspect of us, because usually we think of ourselves, I like to think of myself as a disciplined warrior. Now, the Incredible Hulk is this rage, with the claws, and his face is like bursting out. Okay, he's very ugly too, so it's a bit, well, now they made him good looking maybe. I don't know, they changed the way he looks from time to time. But if you can imagine someone attractive, someone that you look up to, raging, that just means that you have that inside yourself too. So you have the power to fulfill the advice of our sages. La'ilam yargis. When you're in the ilam, when you're in the world, you should be yargis. If you're not in the world, then yeah, you could be this calm, spiritual warrior dude. You could be that guy. But since we're la'aylam yargiz adam, the shleimest, when he's in the aylam, that's when he has to be yargiz. He has to be enraged. He has to rage. Hey, Jamie. Oh my goodness, James, my brother. Even if you're here for a second, even by accident, I see you. When you see a tzaddik, you mention blessing, words of blessing. What's that saying? Tzaddik livracha, something like that. So, when the Adam, the person who is whole, the whole person, everything, the shleimus, Erzuril tzaddik, the nekeva, always available to the tzaddik, have a perfect shleimus. If a person's perfect and whole, why would he need to be yargis? It's because la'ilam. I hope I'm getting these words right because I'm making a whole drush on it. That's the way I remember it. La'ilam yargis adam yetzer taival yetzar. That's the way I remember. Someone look it up for me. I'm making a whole drush. I'm pretty sure I'm right. So when you're in the oilam, right? What is in the oilam? Oilam lashon helam hester. It means to be concealed. It means if there is God, it's a mystical God who's concealed. a mystical God in that dimension. We never limit God to any one thing, obviously, but we have to be able to talk. We have to be able to relate to God, so we have to be able to speak about God. We have to have a language that speaks about God. The reason why I talk about superheroes is because guess what? The very fact that you know what I'm talking about means that culture has affected you, and therefore language itself is the most major construct of the cultural mindset. The fact that there's such a word, Incredible Hulk, and you know what I'm talking about, you don't just think I'm just saying la la la, means that idea permeated your consciousness. So we relate to things, we might think they're ugly, we might think that they're inappropriate, but that's still an encountering of an aspect of culture, and you're affected by it. And if you repress it, which is many people's strategies, it's gonna come out like out of your ear, or it's gonna come out of you in an ugly way. If you're affected by culture, relate to it, know the appropriate response to things, don't be afraid of things. Okay, so I have a lot on my mind today, and again, I had a morning just like yesterday. Same technical difficulties, same issues with the same people. Happens to not be family, so it's nice to be able to say that. Somewhat business, sort of. Anyways, so I'm a lack on time again, so I can't really delve into anything with you like the way I would want to. Like when I was in the cottage, that was incredible. Because I didn't have anyone to constrain my time, just me and my ideal way to spend my time. Okay, I'm not excluding anything, but I'm just saying, what a vacation. So we have the word vacation, of course, too. And if that's part of your culture and your language, then you have to relate to it. Maybe it should be rejected. I'm not saying if there's an Incredible Hulk, maybe it is so unattractive that we should repel it entirely. But I'm telling you, there's a source for it, and I just stated my perspective of it. So I wanted to talk more about a couple things. There's some psukim that I really got into here, but I don't know if I'm going to get into that with you. There's an Orach Chaim, like the comments on this, it's really incredible. Maybe it will come out. I'm going to go to the source that brought me to that. Here it is. I think it's this one right here. It's incredible. Megala Amukais. Okay? That's the author. He brings a Zayar. There are three. What is the most prominent thing of something? The center. The menorah is the center of the menorah. Isn't that Ner HaMaravi? The western candle that represents the Shekhinah? I'm pretty sure it's that one. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But it says in the Zayar that there are three. So where are they going to be? If we're going to be talking about three who? Incredible people, and we got to see what's common about them that makes them three, because you could add more to people list. We have 7 shepherds, we have 3 Avos. These are not 3 Avos here. It says there are 3, Yaakov, Yosef, Moshe. We'll see if there's a relationship with the Incredible Hulk to this, but there's different. Sometimes I always find a link. Okay, we're going to learn about 3 people if we have time, which we don't, but we'll do it anyways. These people are all in the middle path. Perfection. Adam. Okay? Yaakov, Yosef, and Moshe. We'll see what they are. Yaakov Zacha, Shenik, and it's expressed in the way their relationship with the Holy Land is. Did they make it into the Holy Land? Did they live there? Were they buried there? Mostly here, how they're sort of like eternally at rest in what state? Where are they? Yaakov Zacha shenikvar gufay v'atzmaisav ve'Eretz Yisrael. Yaakov merited to be buried, body and bones, in Eretz Yisrael. We're going to see that there's actually something incomplete about that. We'll see. Yosef Zacha likavar atzmaisav v'lagufay. Yosef merited that his bones would be buried, but not his body. Okay, because it was years before. Whereas Yaakov was embalmed and taken there right away. Yosef, how many years? Like hundreds of years, almost, or literally. Yosef Zach l'kabarat tzmeisav lagufa. Moshe lo zacha, but Moshe did not merit shafilat tzmeisav yikanzu le'eretz Yisrael. Even his bones were not buried there, Moshe. So why? So, what did God have in store for him? It's really incredible. He wanted to be equal to the other two that were buried there. He wanted to be buried in Eretz Yisrael. He's desperate to go there. We know that from Parshas Meraglim, when they wanted the importance of going into the land. He wanted to be buried there, and that's what Parshas Veschanan speaks about. He prayed 1,115 times so that he could gain entry to the land. And this is all about that, the reason behind that. There's a beautiful thing over here about davening also that I'm also excited to talk about. So, I might want to even segue into that right now, which is wild and crazy. Yes. I'm about to daven, so we'll relate that. Maybe we'll go back to it. This is in the name of the Baal Shem Tov. It says, Hakavana hu haneshama. Remember we said before that our intent in davening, when we daven, that is called Kavana. Neshamas Yisrael, Knesset Yisrael, the Jewish people as a whole are called Kavana. Here we say the Kavana is the Neshama. Before we said it, the Knesset Yisrael. Now here I found the source, the name of the Baal Shem Tov, who says Kavana is the Neshama, and that's when it's in a state of Dveikus. The Dveikus and Neshama, that's the Kavana. That, remember we talked about the singular focus you have to have in the same context, I believe, yesterday. Here we're saying in the single Neshama, not just the whole aggregate. It's Dveikus, that's Kavana. And that's Dveikus, cleaving to God, which means everyone's one. God and you are one. V'zeu hispashtus agashmis, and that's when you go out of your physicality. Perush sheyafshit nishmas megufa, that your soul should just extend beyond your body. And that your soul should be invested in those words that you speak. That's a very Hulk thing, right? Being very there in the moment, very mindful. So when you speak, it's with passion. It's not. You have to be healthy to do that. Okay, like I don't feel like I've been getting enough sleep, and that's one area of general health that you have to have a really strict discipline and get whatever you need. You know what you need. Like, come on, it's ridiculous. Start waking up early again. It's awesome. I love waking up early, but you have to get to bed like 10:30 if you want to do it, which means you have to be very unexcited by life. So you're very happy just to lie down and shut it all off for a while. So when you are invested in your words, when your thought is powerfully invested, that's the Dveikus. That's your connection to God. And you will see many supernal realms. That's from Keser Shem Tov. Okay, wasn't that was awesome. That's on my source sheet here for Or Zerula Tzaddik. Oh, that's not even actually the one I wanted to segue into. I just found that one. But that was a good one. Like, I want to give all these. Here's one from Ben Ish Chai. This is beautiful because it speaks about the Geula. That the Geula here, it says, will be in the merit of davening. The Ben Ish Chai, okay? Hilchas Shana Aleph Truma Psicha Hey. Look it up, okay? The redemption will be in the merit of davening. And he darshans the verse, L'Hashem ha'yishu alam chol birchas sakasala, to Hashem is salvation, upon your nation is your blessing forever. When it says L'Hashem ha'yishu, that's B'geula Hasidah, that's talking about the future redemption, which is happening now. Oh, I wanted to say before, that why am I talking about superheroes so much? Okay, I told you it has a historical significance in my life. But I think it's actually relevant in a different way, in a much more meaningful way to you. I think the unfolding of the redemption, which is happening now, I think that's going to unfold in a way that you are slowly going to become healthy. The Tchias HaMesim, I don't think God wants us to die. The Rebbe brings a source for it that I quoted before, I think. He says, it says you're going to return to ashes and dust. It's like a mitzvah. The Baal Shem Tov wanted to specifically to die. He didn't want to be like Eliyahu and Navi that took his body with him to heaven. He wanted to actually fulfill the mitzvah. He felt it was a mitzvah that you have to la'afar tashuv, you have to return to the earth. So he wanted to do that. The Rebbe says you can do that in a spiritual way by being humble. We spoke about the worm yesterday. That's where silk comes from. Beautiful garments, or what is silk there in that context? Amazing stuff. So I think, I'm bringing sources for it. I just wrote a whole editorial about it last week. It just came out a few days ago. It speaks about the power at our fingertips that is uncanny, awesome. Okay, so if it's true, if the Rebbe is truthful, and if it's going to happen, that it doesn't have to be Tchias HaMesim. That's my fantasy. Who wants to die? I don't want to. They could be, the Rebbe says it could be symbolic. You don't have to die. You can die. Your ego can die. Just fall totally into God. Rage at your Yitzhara, so you're just falling into God's hands, because the two things are the same side of the spectrum. The raging, the incredible Hulk. The flip side of that, the thing that makes it possible, is that there's something we're fighting for. That's awesome. He's enraged, or that there's such an idea in the world that there's rage. Okay, we express it very visually, graphically in our culture. But the idea, if we're going to take that on and understand the Torah, we have now an image that we just happen to encounter in the world for whatever stupid reason. And we have an image now to know what it means to really rage. We have it in nature too. It says the Chachamim say that if you didn't have the Torah, you could learn certain things from the animals. I think to be humble and sensitive from the cat, and to not steal, I think from the ant, or to look it up. We learn things from our environment. People used to know what an animal was. Now, to me, an animal is digits on a screen. That's what an animal is. And you know what? I kind of like it that way. Well, no, that's just because I'm afraid of their claws. Oh, did I post that grizzly bear? I found there was a paw that was literally the size of the woman's, from shoulder to shoulder. So it was very sneeze, because that was our mechitza. Okay, the parga. Okay. His claw was as big as her body. That's an image. That's the Incredible Hulk, the image that we've encountered in our culture. And what are we going to do with that now? Now you don't have to watch a stupid movie. Okay, but you have that already in you. Use it for something good. Use it as a source of passion to fuel your incredible love for God. I just dented my sheet for I was clawing it like the Incredible Hulk with claw paper. Because that's what you gotta sink your teeth into Torah. Okay, this is so cool here. It's a little bit mathematical too, but that's gonna scare people away. How many tefillahs are there? Right, there's 3, right? Oh no, there's no video, there's some problem. Oh, thank you for letting me know that. That means that I can't make my visual display to sort of accompany the words. At least there's the audio. We have to suffice with what resources are available to us and rage within that, right? Okay. It says the word Selah. We say that all the time in davening. Do you ever know what that means? Sela. They translate it as forever or forevermore. Sela. It's significant that it's numbers 95 because there's 95 davenings. There's 19 prayers, blessings in each Shemona Esrei, or if you're going to say there's 18, you add Chut Chesed is the 19th. Okay, this is 19. We add the added one, but I think the idea here is really 18. No, 95 divided by 5 is 19, so it's 5 times. The word 5 is Eis Simcha. Those are the 5 davenings are associated with Simcha. That's why there's 5. Why are there 5? There's 3 davenings and 2 repetitions, okay? So you have to be part of the congregation to get the whole power of 5. The Simcha, the power, the rage, the positive side, the flip side of the raging at the Yetzer Hara is when you conquer that. And therefore, or the flip side of that directly, you just, this calm. The warrior was calm. That's why he wore tefillin. I spoke about that many times. He had to be calm so his body could be just embodying the Shekhinah. Okay, I want to talk about that more, right? I had this incredible Megala Mukos here. It's very long, so I segued out of it. It was incredible, and I thought I was supposed to continue something from yesterday. I told you I went. And you know what? There's also Kerach that I want to get into. But I think maybe the Hulk is going, this image of the Hulk will help us. Maybe tomorrow, please God, we'll tackle Kerach. I have to learn. I don't want to speak about it too much before I see what the Alter Rebbe writes in the Likutei Torah about it. Because that becomes like the Hasidic Parsha. That's just what resonates in an idea. You want to know the general thing? The Alter Rebbe set out the path. The Rebbe, Melech Mashiach, our Rebbe, is taking that and built a world out of it. He's built a culture, a mindset, a language to just take it. I mean, that's why I am able to articulate my perspective in English about all these things, because when the Rebbe's teachings resonated with me, his words just brought my mind to such a focus on a single path. I never had to look elsewhere, okay? I did culturally, I've gone into haiku for a bit, okay? But that's not what drove my mindset, really. It was just a way to express it. And it's all related. Incredible Hulk imagery, all the things all these ideas are related. So, maybe we should stop there. Or was I in the middle of a thought just now? Okay, we spoke about Dveikus, Hispashtus, Agashmius, getting out of physicality. I can get to this very long, amazing one. We said the Ben Ish Chai about 5 tefillos. The Mashiach is going to come in the merit of our davening. That's the raging power to transform ourselves, the transformative power, and to take the powers that are. Oh, I didn't finish that thought. That was my main thought. Is that since we have so much power, if the Rebbe is right, and he is, that these powers are going to come out. Even if, okay, so if it's after Tchias Mesim, at least have an experience of it now, a foretaste of it. The idea, let it resonate, because that's the idea that's going to enliven us when we have perfect bodies, okay? Total health. The way I see it, I gave a source that said after Tchias Mesim we're going to be first ill and then get healed. I'm saying, so therefore, that together with the Rebbe's teaching, that you don't actually have to die, could mean that that's what it means Mashiach's unfolding, that we are going to get progressively more health. We're going to rage with health against all the illness and trauma and physical ailments in our bodies. Just rage with power of healing and power of strength and blessings in our life. Draw down miraculous powers to transform us into superheroes. So, to me, the superhero that's got my attention now, just because of stupid billboards and things like that, and my childhood memories that it resonates with, is the Dark Phoenix. Okay, so I speak with Incredible Hulk. I never was into. He was too dark. He was not Dark Phoenix. Okay, Incredible Hulk. He was too angry. Phoenix is angry, but with class. the Shekhinah can be, in my view, can be angry. So when I imagine Sari Meinu, because that's to me Malchus Davening, that's the Shekhinah. That's my image of the Shekhinah, is Sari Meinu. Specifically, I like to put her before Pare with this rage and this angel at her fingertips, hitting him in the side where it counts. That kind of rage, that's my Incredible Hulk. That's my Dark Phoenix. Why dark? Because I imagine her sneering with power and rage at anything that would dare get in the way of the terrifying Shekhinah. That's the terror. The terror is not one of like an ugly terror. It's not the Incredible Hulk. It's a beautiful terror. It's a roaring lion so you have to get the right. I can't talk to the female perspective. It always complicates it for me. But the flip side, I've spoken about how to do that, make that move all the time. You can always flip it around. For men, it's through Adnai Svasai Tiftach. I've spoken about it zillions of times. I'm not going to get into it now. But that power of immersion, falling into it, that allows you to be in the throne perspective, listening to the words of the Shekhinah speaking. Ha'er Hagadol Hanavui. We now are, if we don't have it, but I just sense it coming. If we don't have the power of Nevuah, the power of super help, if we don't have it, it's coming. Be sensitive. Become sensitive, not desensitized, the opposite. Don't be cynical to it. Sensitize yourself. That's what the Rebbe wants. The Rebbe didn't say it in English. I'm saying it. I want to be the Rebbe's voice in English. I know I'm not the Rebbe in terms of like, I'm not so reserved. The Rebbe didn't go on vacation. He sat in a lawn chair for 10 minutes. Literally. So I can't claim to portray the Rebbe in all ways, even though we're shluchim of the Rebbe. Shluchim sha'adam k'meisi, if we're an emissary of someone, we have to represent them. And I can't claim that my personality is the way the Rebbe would. Everyone. I don't think he'd want to be in many people's personalities, and some of the most beautiful people. But I don't think that's what it means to be a chassid, to just strictly be an embodiment of the Rebbe. I don't think that's what it means. I think it means to be inspired by the Rebbe and be filled up with Hashem. Obviously it links in because there's a nitzutz of Mashiach, but to me that nitzutz is the miraculous unity to God. That's what that nitzutz of Mashiach is within us. And for the Rebbe, it's different than it is for me. Or maybe one day I'll transform into the Rebbe. I mean that figuratively. I don't, like, the Rebbe would never speak about the Incredible Hulk. He's spoken about some wild things within the context of Torah. But I'm a Baal Tshuva, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think that necessarily makes me the embodiment of what, like that spiritual move, to make that move. Even though there's sources for that, and that makes it very compelling. My understanding of what it means to be a chassid is a little bit different. Means, like, okay, this is a crazy mashal for it. In the X-Men or any group or any legion of superheroes, or tzaddikim lahavdil, we have a group. We have 3 tzaddikim I spoke about: Yaakov, Moshe, and Yosef. What is the Bria Chatika in the middle thing is incredible because it draws down from highest to lowest. So the greatest yin yang, the greatest opposites. The paradox is most expressed in those 3 figures. Yaakov, Yud, Akev, Yosef, the temptation and overcoming, and Moshe Rabbeinu is beyond everything. We call him Basi Neman. He's trusted in God's entire house and breaks all the rules, as I've spoken about at length before. So I want to say, Erzer L'Tzadik is Se'achas Yadecha, God's yuds, God's productive energies planted within us. We got to reveal the Amek Kulam Tzadikim, to reveal that. just thinking now that if this isn't being recorded, then it's a shame that, and that's like, oh, what am I supposed to take that as a sign that we're not ready? Do we look for signs? I do. I once predicted something, and it didn't happen yet. And I felt, okay, that's like, why did I bother uttering such a thing? It's ridiculous of me. So I had to change my whole, I never want to do that again. Maybe if it ever comes true, then it's like, okay, maybe the power of speech can affect things. Of course, you have to be very mufshat, nigashmi is to totally transcend. You have to be very transcendent to attain the purity, to have that, to be a channel for that. I think that a person is a superhero, whether for the good or for the bad, right? Dark side or the positive side. Like I've spoken about that before, right? It's just the idea of being like a passionate person, very alive. These people that are just asleep, walking through the world with eyes closed, literally. Just lulled into this paper mache existence. Conquer yourself. I really want to get into that Yaakov Yosef Moshe thing, but it's pretty late. I knew we wouldn't have time for it, but because I want our heroes to be the tzaddikim. It's really what I'm driving at. To me, my hero is the Rebbe, but to me, the Rebbe illuminates all the characters in the Torah, and they're different personalities. So I'm going to be different from the Rebbe. That doesn't mean I'm not a chassid of the Rebbe. Obviously it's a scale, and if you were probably the biggest chassid, you probably would embody the Rebbe in every way. Maybe, I don't know. To me, I'm suggesting that maybe not. Maybe there's a pantheon. Is that specifically a negative word? Pantheon? Or a range, a dais full of different personalities. There's 7 branches of the menorah. Okay, not just the middle one, which is Moshe, Yosef, and Yaakov. Everybody's different. And that difference you have to express your connection to through who you are. So I'm suggesting that it's all dependent on health. That health will be the Erzul Tzaddik, and health in all ways, so spiritually too. So health is going to be the power that will just produce a productive existence. Healthy mindset. That's the way we have to see everything. That being compelled to things that are against our own beliefs, and that's the way I always phrase it, is not healthy. So the health is being the warrior enough to assert yourself, to live up to who you really are. I'm going to leave it at that because I don't even know if it's being recorded. Well, someone just said something. It says there's nobody here, but someone just wrote something. So maybe it is being recorded. We could take this, therefore, as a positive message. That this message is worthy of getting out there. Power's available to us now. Tap into it. If it's not my ideas, shut me up. Don't listen to me. But if it is, take my message forward. Take the power that's available to us now. To me, that's what Gimel Tammuz is about. And as Gimel Tammuz gets closer, and it's getting closer and closer, I'm going to rage about it. Hopefully it will look positive and healthy. I'm not going to be one of those morose people. I'm not going to face the world with bitterness. I'm not going to. That's like I deliberately don't. I think that there is an approach and a worthy service of God, but I don't want to be that person. Even though I might even tend towards that in some ways. Ultimately, I'm not. Okay, whatever significance that is. But my superhero, probably, there's none of that. Everyone's different. You want to be a chassid of the Rebbe, be the you that they were actually very big chassidim who did things that I don't even approve of. They swore. Okay, I don't approve of that, but he's a very famous chassid. I can't think of his name right now, which is a good thing. Hi. Oh, other ones. I can think of a story. Okay, I'll end with the story of one of my heroes named Mendel Futterfast. He swore in a sort of He didn't swear. I don't think he said profanity. Maybe he did. I can't speak, but I know what I did hear this story. A certain group of Chassidim approached Rabbi Futterfass. I think he was living in Israel at the time, and they wanted to make him their Rebbe. And then the Futterfass was a Kushan Chassid to two Rebbeim, okay, I believe, and he had self-sacrifice for his mission. He was, in exile, I think, for 8 years, and the Rebbe told him that those years wouldn't be taken off his life. But they wanted to make him Rebbe. Okay, they wanted to make him like the Rebbe. They wanted to literally make him a Rebbe. And in our circles, you don't do that. That's, I think, the reason why people don't assert themselves as leaders is because they don't want to say, oh, I'm making myself out to be a Rebbe. We don't do that. And when they approach him at the Futterfass to try and make him their Rebbe, they wouldn't go away. They wouldn't leave him alone. So he says, Kush me a toes. Kush, kiss my ass. I don't say those words. I'm repeating his words to share with you an idea. Okay, that's one of the greatest Chassidim. Okay, my Mashpia would speak like that. Also, he had no problem with that, but he would not swear. Maybe in Yiddish. Okay, that's somehow acceptable. That's so weird. Well, I just feel like a rush of energy. My Mashpia. Okay, you look up his picture. I'm Avram Lipsker. I haven't seen him in a long time. But I have great memories about him. He inspired me to want to be a chassid. He's got this gorgeous smile and a big fluffy white snowy beard, but just beautiful. I wish him strength and he should live to be 120 and further. No audience? Not sure what that means. You can't hear me? That would be really silly. I'm sitting here, I should be davening. Can anyone hear me? Go like this. I'm gonna have to stop because that's what it seemed to say, and I better get to davening. Okay, I could go on. I really don't feel like I exhausted the subject because my idea is unveil the tzaddik, the superhero, the tzaddik that you are through healthy. That's the only thing at our fingertips is healthiness. It's the only thing we could make decisions to have a healthy life. Torah is an extension. That's a spiritual, divine teaching to tell us what is health. It's the same thing. I know the whole thing about Torah and curing and healing. Shavuos time. Look that up. Okay, I'm gonna stop just because I don't think anyone's listening, and I gotta go. So have a great day, everyone. I hope you all unveil that total awesome spiritual power that's gonna make you into a superhero, a real tzaddik, a real chassid, a real individual personality that's unique. The person who you are, just all that, the health, just it's pouring out until you become a glorious dark phoenix or whatever you identify with, raging at the world in the way that God wants you to, in your particular unique way.